Hi students, as a part of exam preparation, I have prepared an answer key for microbiology question paper that is April 2019 from Kuhas or Kerala University. So actually the microbiology question paper is for 75 marks and it has long essay, short notes and here in this video we will discuss about long essay and short essays. So the first question is a long essay which carries 12 marks and the question is name the blood-borne microorganisms, list the blood-borne virus infections, describe the morphology of hepatitis B, modes of spread, laboratory diagnosis and prevention of hepatitis B infection. So we'll see according to the marks you should write the content. Here the essay question, the long essay carries 12 marks and they have divided it 2 plus 2 plus 8. It means name the blood-borne microorganism carries 2 marks and list down the blood-borne virus infection carries 2 marks and the morphology, mode of spread, laboratory diagnosis and prevention of hepatitis B carries 8 marks. So we will discuss it clearly. So what is blood-borne microorganisms? So whenever you start with any kind of answering, you should remember that you should put the definition of the main content in the question. So here they have asked blood-borne microorganism. So you should write the definition. What is blood-borne microorganisms? That is blood-borne pathogens or microorganisms or infectious microorganisms present in blood that can cause disease in humans. So these microorganisms present in the blood which causes disease in the human. So if you have contact with the blood or blood products, of course you have a chance of getting this infection. What are all these microorganisms? It includes bacteria, parasites and virus. So it includes all the some of the bacteria like syphilis and brucellosis, parasites like malaria and viruses like HIV, hepatitis. So what is the next part of the essay question is list the blood-borne virus infection. So what are all the viral infection which spreads through blood-borne? So we all well know that hepatitis B and C spreads through blood-borne disease. So human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV, also spreads through blood and blood products. So for this, actually this list down answer they are giving you 2 marks. So according to the marks you should write the content. The blood-borne virus infection, that is hepatitis B, hepatitis C and human immunodeficiency virus. So what is the next question or next part of the long essay is they ask you to write morphology, lab diagnosis and mode of transmission and prevention of hepatitis B. Okay, so here we will see about morphology of hepatitis B or hepatitis virus. So total of this part contains 8 marks. So you can put an introduction, especially when you write morphology you should draw the picture if possible and you should write the size, structure, which family it comes from and some specific important structural aspect of the virus. So it comes under the family hepadnavirus and it virion which carries it is Dane particle. The size of this hepatitis is 42 nanometer in diameter and the structure is spherical double-shelled morphology and it has a double-stranded DNA. It consists of lipid envelope. So it consists of 3 antigens. One is surface antigen, the other one is core antigen and the envelope antigen. So this envelope antigen is a circulating protein in the serum. So all these antigens are important when you do a laboratory diagnosis. So remember this hepatitis B surface antigen, core antigen and envelope antigen helps us in diagnosis of hepatitis B. So the surface antigen represents the surface, the pink circles or surface antigens, and the next layer is hepatitis C, that is hepatitis B core antigen, that is CAG, and the envelope antigen which are like the plus marks here which circulates in the serum. It's a protein which circulates in the serum. So these three antigens you should represent when you write about the morphology of hepatitis B. So what is it? It comes under heparinavirus. Virion is Dane particle, 42 nanometer in diameter, spherical double-shelled structure. It has a double-stranded DNA and it has 3 antigens. One is surface antigen, consists of lipid, and the core antigen has an inner nucleocapsid, and the envelope antigen, which is circulating antigen in the serum. Mode of spread. You all know that blood and blood products leads to hepatitis B. But how we will have a contact with the blood or blood products? Direct blood to blood contact cause hepatitis B. So mostly it comes from mother to child. So if mother has hepatitis B and she is pregnant, of course there is possibility of child getting an hepatitis B. Lot of tattoos, piercing, barber shops, if in the beauty parlors, in so many places, even in dental clinics, what happens if they are not sterilizing the equipments properly? Hepatitis B may spread. So especially when you do a tattoo or ear piercing, those kind of places you should look for whether they are doing a proper sterilization. The next is household contact. Mostly razor, brushes and earrings sometimes may cause sharing of these things may cause hepatitis B from one person to another person. Sharing of needles, or if the needles are not sterilized or disposed properly, of course the patient or the other person who is sharing the needle may get hepatitis B. Unsterile healthcare practices. So if sterilization techniques is not good, aseptic techniques is not followed properly, that's also a spread of hepatitis B spread may occur. And of course sexual transmission may affect the partner with hepatitis B. So if we see points, so whenever they ask you, you should write with points or subheadings or headings. Okay, by birth from mother to baby, sex with an infected partner, sharing needles, syringes or drug preparation equipments, any kind of drug preparation equipments if you share, and of course you may get a chance of hepatitis B. Sharing items such as toothbrushes, razors, medical equipments like glucometer, infected persons, from the infected persons also you may have a chance of getting hepatitis B. Direct contact with blood or open sores of an infected person. So if you have a direct contact in a cut wounds, you may get a hepatitis B. Exposure to an infected person's blood through needle sticks or other sharp instruments. And healthcare, you should remember, in hospitals you are not supposed to use unsterilized equipments, and proper sterilization techniques and proper handling of needles are important. Laboratory diagnosis. There are plenty of diagnostic tests available for hepatitis B. We have seen all of them are serological tests mostly. And as we have listed down all the antigens, so if you can screen for all these antigens in the blood. Hepatitis B surface antigen, that is HBsAg, HBeAg, that is envelope antigen. Hepatitis B core IgM, which includes both surface antigen and the core antigen. And anti-HBc, that is antibodies of hepatitis core antigen. So that is anti-HBc. Antibodies of surface antigen, that is anti-HBs, and antibodies of envelope antigens, that is anti-HBe. So you can do antigen tests, that is hepatitis SAg, hepatitis EAG, hepatitis B core IgM, and the antibodies specifically you can do for core antibody, core, surface and envelope antigens. Hepatitis B DNA PCR is a quantitative analysis, that is polymerase chain reaction. So you will know how much infectious status the patient has, the quantity of the virus. If you want to know, you have to do this PCR. Hepatitis B DNA PCR. These are all the laboratory tests. How you can prevent hepatitis B? We know what are all the cause or mode of transmission. So that same thing you can write it here as a preventive measures. So healthy lifestyle, using condom and We have to be conscious when you do a sex with other persons. Vaccination. Follow the rules of personal hygiene. Do not do piercing, tattoos in a questionable places. So you go for a trip and in those places you are not aware how they do the sterilizing techniques, and you are not supposed to do piercing or tattoos there. Observe the rules of anti-epidemic regime and avoid stress. Use sterile syringes whenever you are using. So these are all the preventive measures. So we are finishing with the long essay. They have asked for blood-borne disease. What are all the name some blood-borne diseases, and they asked you to list down the virus causing blood-borne diseases, and they told you to explain about morphology, mode of spread, laboratory diagnosis and prevention of hepatitis B. So we'll move on to the short essay. There is 2 short essay in this question paper which carries 7 marks. That is total short essays 14 marks. So what is the second question which comes under short essay? That is classify disinfectants and name the chemical agents used for skin antiseptics and describe the steps of performing hand hygiene. So the marks are divided like 2 plus 2 plus 3. So remember the marks. That is classify disinfectants carries 2 marks. Name the chemical agents used for skin antisepsis carries 2 marks. Describe the steps of performing hand hygiene 3 marks. But whenever we start with any question, we have to write the definition. Either you can write the definition of disinfection or disinfectants or both. So what is disinfection? It is the process of destruction or removal of microorganisms and reducing them to the level not harmful to health. And what is disinfectants? The chemical agents which are used for antiseptic and disinfection purpose, we call them as disinfectants. So what are all the classification of disinfectants? I have explained in my disinfection video. There is a mnemonic called Pharmagod. Remember that Pharmagod. So that is the classification of disinfection. P for phenol derivative. You can write with an example. H for halogen. A for alcohol. A for aldehyde. And R for surface reactants, that is soaps. And M for metals like silver, mercury and copper. A for acids. G for gases. O for oxidizing agents and D for dyes. So remember Pharmagod as a mnemonics. The next part in the short essay question is skin antiseptics. They told you to list down the disinfectants which are used as skin antiseptics. There are few reagents which we use as a sanitizers or a hand washing solutions. That is chlorhexidine, providone iodine, chloroxinol, isopropyl alcohol, hexachlorophene and hydrogen peroxide. So these are all the some of the skin antiseptics comes under this disinfectants. So the next part of the question is steps for performing hand hygiene. It carries actually 3 marks. So remember that removing jewelry, wet hands, apply enough soap or sanitizer. So you have to write all the steps in the hand washing. That is, so you remember all the steps and you should write the steps in words. We all know that how to perform hand hygiene, but while writing in the words it is difficult. Here I have given it in a very simple sentences. So what are all the steps in performing hand hygiene? First, remove jewelry and wet hands. Apply enough soap or sanitizer. Rub palms together. Right palm over the dorsum and left palm over the right. Interlocked fingers. Palm to palm and back of the fingers. Rotational rubbing of both the thumb, right and left. Rotational rubbing of both fingertips. Rotational rubbing of both wrists. And then rinse hands with water and dry it with single use towel or a tissue paper. Wash for at least 20 seconds using soap or antiseptics or sanitizer. So whatever you use, you have to follow these steps and you should at least spend 20 seconds minimum so that you can finish all the steps. So steps of performing hand hygiene, make sure you write it in under points with simple sentences. So we are completing this short essay which is like what is disinfection, how you classify the disinfectants and what are all the skin disinfectants we use and steps in performing hand hygiene, which carries total 7 marks. So what is the next question in the short essay is describe briefly the laboratory diagnosis of pulmonary tuberculosis. So this short essay is describe briefly the laboratory diagnosis of pulmonary tuberculosis. They have asked only the laboratory diagnosis for 7 marks. So you should be creative when you write headings for these kind of questions. So pulmonary tuberculosis, always as I said, you start with the definition. What is pulmonary tuberculosis? It is a disease caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. As it is microbiology, we should mention what organism causes tuberculosis. And then we can write what are the clinical specimen used in laboratory diagnosis. What are the specimens we use it for this test? So we can use sputum, gastric juices, gastric lavage, bronchoalveolar wash, CSF fluid, tissue biopsies, pleural fluid or pleural biopsy. So patients with tuberculosis, you can expect that they may have lung tuberculosis in the lung or gastrointestinal or meningeal tuberculosis. So we will be taking samples from the sputum, gastric juices, gastric lavage, bronchoalveolar wash, CSF, tissues or pleural fluid. So you can list down the clinical specimen used for laboratory diagnosis, and then we will move on to what are all the lab tests done for pulmonary tuberculosis. As you all know, the very common popular test is Mantoux test. That is, screening test is done by tuberculin skin test. So what you do in this, you will inject 0.1 ml of 5-TU. You will inject 0.1 ml of 5-TU PPD, that is purified protein derivative, for the tuberculin test. Observe for 48 to 72 hours, and if it shows wheal pattern of 6 mm to 10 mm, then we can more than 10 mm we consider it as positive skin test for tuberculosis. So the next lab diagnosis is sputum AFB, which is a very common one. We have to obtain 3 sputum smear for examination. Early morning sputums are very important, and ask the patient to collect with a deep cough in a sterile container. Sputum is stained using a Ziehl-Neelsen stain, which shows a pink color on the microscopic. So here you can write the next test as direct microscopic examination of sputum. How you have to take the sputum and stain it with Ziehl-Neelsen, and appearance of long thin pink rods are seen. So I have explained or showed in my staining techniques like how the gram positive gram cocci looks like, gram negative cocci looks in the microscopic examination. So staining by Ziehl-Neelsen method gives a long pink rods which are positive for Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So what is the first test is screening test, that is tuberculin skin test, sputum AFB. You have to take 3 consecutive samples. Early morning samples are very effective, and it is stained with Ziehl-Neelsen. Microscopic study of sputum, that is direct examination in the microscope by staining, shows long thin pink rods. The next is sputum culture. The culture is done with the LJ medium, that is Lowenstein-Jensen medium, over 6 to 8 weeks. But there is latest techniques, there are BACTEC machines are available which shows rapid radiometric culture system, which is very effective in identifying the microorganism. So sputum culture, either you can use LJ media for the culture to grow of around 6 to 8 weeks, or you can put it in the BACTEC machine for easy reading of microorganisms. The next is PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction, which detects the organism in sputum and other specimens. The test name is called GeneXpert test, which will give you the quantity of the organisms so that we can easily identify how severe the infectious state is. The next is quantiferon gold test, which is very effective test recently used nowadays, which is called gold TB gold test. There is QFT, which is a simple blood test that aids in the detection of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Because most of the skin test becomes wrong, this QFT plays a vital role in laboratory diagnosis of tuberculosis. QFT is highly specific and sensitive. A positive result is strongly predictive of true infection with Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it is called GOLD test, which is an important test in tuberculosis. So what are all the laboratory tests done for the Mycobacterium tuberculosis is, we can do a screening test, which is MANTO, and you can do sputum, AFB, direct microscopic examination of sputum, or we can do sputum culture, PCR methods, and quantiferon GOLD test. The clinical specimens we used, we already listed down. So these are all the questions we discussed today in this video. We have discussed from April 2019 long essay and short essay. See you in the next video with short notes. Thank you.